The other question also is from Prelims 2021. It reads, Triclosan considered harmful when exposed to high levels for a long time. So two things are there, two factors are there. One is the level of triclosan and the other is time, right? So when is it harmful? When will it cause harm? When the level is high and, right, and the time is long. When will it not cause harm? Not cause harm. When the level is high but the time is short. If the time is short, even if there is high level of triclosan in something, once or twice exposure to that will not cause much problem. What can be the other combination? Can we have low levels of triclosan and short amount of time? This is actually desirable, right? If at all we have to have something which has got triclosan, if it has got low levels of triclosan and if less exposure, short time exposure is there, this is the best case scenario. Can we have low levels of triclosan but long exposure? This cannot be the case, right? It cannot be the case because low levels of triclosan, but if you have many years of exposure, over time it can accumulate and become high, right? So it will become high over time. So this cannot happen, right? This cannot happen. So now we need to just come to the options. The question asks, which of the following will most likely have triclosan? Which of the following will most likely contain triclosan? So think like an officer, think like a district collector. In your district, you have these 4 items, and in which of these will you allow triclosan to be used? You will allow it to be used in only those items which will not harm, only in those scenarios which will not harm the public, right? So food preservatives, right? Every kind of packed food item uses food preservatives. So will you allow triclosan to be used in these? No, because right from baby food products all the way up till every age group uses packed food items. Old age people, young people, babies, right? Everybody uses. So even if triclosan is present in low quantities, but long term exposure will be there, so it will turn high, so it will create big problems. So you will not allow in food items for sure. Next, fruit ripening substances. Will you allow in fruit ripening substances? They are directly in touch with the fruits. They can, contaminate the fruits. Fruits will be used by everybody, children, old age people, everybody. So again, a big health risk. You will not allow. Reused plastic containers, right? So that means these are being used again and again, which means long time exposure is there, and we have seen that long time exposure even with low quantities of triclosan will not be allowed, right? Because it will become high and create problems. Again, cannot be allowed. So we are left only with one option, toiletries, and this is the answer. And if you want to see where toiletries will fall in this table, see, toiletries uses, even if it uses triclosan, it is only a short time exposure, right? Deodorants, soaps, shaving creams, foams, etc. Different kinds of toiletries. It's only a short time exposure. So whether it is high or whether it is low, it will not cause harm. And if it will not cause harm, it can be used, right? So toiletries is the answer to this question. So you see how seemingly unsolvable questions can be done through pure logic, through just common sense, right? In these questions, you really cannot do anything through knowledge, because who knows, triclosan will be used, or copper smelting plants will come, or BPA will come, or what, something else will come. There is absolutely no way you can know about what is going to be asked, and there are so many things. If you go for knowledge, you'll get mad, right? So the best approach which I feel is most doable is to go for the standard things. The standard things means what you expect your DC to know, what makes you a better civil servant, what makes you a good civil servant. Only those things you should also know, and for the remaining, just think on broad terms, just think logically, you will be able to arrive at the answer. Either the question can be solved through pure logic, through common sense, or some element of knowledge is required. That also will be standard knowledge which is given in your books, NCRTs, reference books, your current affairs, right? So don't worry too much about some random facts or deep facts being given. Nowadays I see these magazines covering everything, so many details are given, which personally I don't think they will ever be required. The cost benefit ratio in mugging those facts up and utilizing in prelims is very, very less. So it's much better if you just look at, filter the information which you feel is standard information, which makes you a good civil servant, which makes you a good officer tomorrow, which makes you a better person. Only that information. Knowledge is will always be limited. Don't run after knowledge. It is logic that is required. UPSC also requires tomorrow in the field you will be required to take decisions under extreme stress, under extreme situations. So how will you take decisions? Only when you can think logically. You will not always have whatever knowledge you require, whatever information you require to take decisions. So to be an effective civil servant, to be a problem solver, you need to have that confidence of taking decisions. And that confidence, if you are just a knowledge oriented person, you will never have that innate confidence, that intrinsic confidence. It comes through common sense, it comes through practice, it comes through knowing, having this self belief that you can do it, right? So focus on that. And I think this knowledge intense preparation, this knowledge heavy preparation that students are nowadays going for should really take the back seat. The logic, the most important is standard information given in your sources. I've already repeated it multiple times. And logic, logical thinking, critical thinking, common sense. You'll be fine. Think like an officer. Think like an officer.